This is what we would call the government of the future. Looks a little bit strange here, but basically there would be no people in government. The sooner you get people out of government, the better. The reason being that we want to have access to information, not just personal opinions for things. So something like this. This would be a massive centralized computer system. It would be networked among all the cities on the face of the planet in the center of all the circular cities, or whatever the plan of the city is. Main point being that it's not just going to be in one location, where it is subject to being taken out or taking the system down. We want to have it redundant all over the planet. So it'll be a giant network system, and there'll be one of these in every city, theoretically. Rather than having politicians, this would be the Department of Agriculture, this would be the Department of Transportation, so on and so forth. Now, the thing that gave him the inspiration for this was the human body. Jacques looked at the human body and he said, okay, well, this is a very efficient system. This is what we live in. How does this work? And basically, you take the organs individually. Say the heart. If you were to say the heart, well, what do you do? And the heart goes, well, I pump the blood. Without me, the body will die. It says, okay, well, what do you need to the heart? And the heart says, well, I need oxygen and I need nutrients and I need, these various things to keep me going. Okay, then you go to the lungs, say. And what do you do? Well, I provide oxygen to the body. Okay, without me, the body will die. It's like, well, what do you need? Well, the same things the heart needs. I need, I need nutrition and so on and so forth. And you would do that through every organ in the body. The fact of the matter being that in your body, every organ gets whatever the hell it needs whenever it needs it automatically. Okay? If the organs were fighting against each other like we do with governments and countries and everything we have on the planet right now, if your organs were fighting against each other, saying, I'm the most important and I need more of the resources or I need all the resources, you'd rot away in a month. It just simply wouldn't work. Yeah. The other thing is the speed of government as it is today is extremely slow. If your body worked like government does today, you'd get an infection in your toe. And you'd have a committee meeting in your brain. And a month later, by the time the committee decided what to do, it'd be gangrene up to here, you'd have to cut the whole leg off. So you have to be able to adapt quicker, especially if you're going to be handling 7, 8, 10, 12 billion, however many we can eventually handle. And the thing is, we actually can handle many more people than there are right now on the planet. We are not overpopulated. If anyone's ever traveled in an airplane and you look out the window, look at where are all the people? Other than when you get right over a city, there's all this land. We're not overpopulated. It's not a population problem we have. It's a production and distribution problem. You're growing bananas one place and putting them on a ship and shipping them 2,000 miles away. That's retarded. You can build on-site greenhouses, hydroponic systems, something like the Omega Garden or various different things. And you can grow them on site. You don't have to ship them around the world. And the whole idea, again, with this computer system is that this computer system will be automated. It will have its tentacles or its feelers out, sensors, throughout the environment, and it will control automated processes like similar to your body. Say, for instance, you have an agricultural region. And in the agricultural region, the water table drops, and you're getting too little water to keep the plants growing. Well, the sensors would let the central computer in that area know that the water level has dropped. The computer would simply turn on the pumps remotely, bring the water up to the proper level again, and shut them off. You don't send somebody out to go turn on the tap. You don't have a city worker go out and do that. It's automated. And if you're talking about taking care synchronously of billions of people, you have to have something at this level. You can't just have individuals trying to make decisions because it just doesn't work. One of the other things that people bring up a lot is they say, well, will computers control our lives then? Will they tell us what to do? And it's like, well, no, they won't. A good example would be a pocket calculator. Anyone who's used a pocket calculator has entrusted their decision making to a computer. Okay? Assuming that you're punching in the equation correctly, assuming that the calculator is working correctly, you get an accurate reading a lot quicker than if you took an hour and a half to do it on pencil and paper. So again, the computer is giving you a more accurate answer, assuming everything's working correctly, and it's not forcing you to take that answer. You can do whatever you want with that. It's just a better tool to get you data more accurately and quickly than you could on your own. The other thing is, with a computer, the idea is eventually you would meld many different disciplines into one giant database and they'd be able to cross-relate to each other. I don't know if we're quite at that computing power yet, but the point is you would put everything that we know about physics, everything we know about engineering, everything we know about chemistry, everything we know about medicine, and if you get a cross-relational database that can link all these things together, it can come up with all sorts of things you and I can never even imagine right now. But even take it at a basic level, let's just say we put all the information of one field in. For medicine, we'll take for an example. When you go to a doctor right now, you say, hi doc, I got this problem. And the doctor will, if it's something major, usually the doctor will say, well, I think it's this. Well, everyone tells you get a second opinion, or get a third opinion. Why? Why would you have to get a second or third opinion? Well, because each doctor has a little different background, okay? And really all a doctor is doing is he's taking his pattern recognition skills of what he knows and is trying to match them to what he's seeing. So he's never going to be as accurate as a centralized database that has the knowledge of 100,000 doctors, including all the little nuances that they've learned here, there, and everything else. And the computer has the ability to do pattern recognition like the doctor would, and it has something to see, like say a scanner. To pick up a scanner, I have something on my skin on my arm. You scan it in, the computer's going to cross-reference it and go, okay, it's probably one of these three things, and work it down from there. You can do whatever you want with that information. It's not going to force you to do anything, but the odds are, 100,000 heads are most likely better than 1, 2, or 3. So you're going to get more accurate information. The whole point of all of this is two things. Automated systems for production and distribution, that's it, not telling you how to live your lives, and quicker and more accurate data from multiple sources, and that's probably the best way to sum it up. So that's the idea of the government of the future compared to what we have now. You can automate basically everything, including the machines being able to diagnose and automate themselves. I mean, it is very possible now the machine can monitor, your car can monitor all sorts of stuff right now. Your car can monitor that this part of the engine is down, and so the light comes on saying, you have a problem with the fuel filter, okay? Now you bring it into a mechanic. Well, hell, most mechanics now hook it up to a computer that tells them what's wrong with it, okay? And the computer goes, okay, it's the oil filter. So the mechanic grabs a wrench, goes down there, does the oil filter, only so he can still have a job. You could have an automated robot do the oil filter, okay? The ordering can be done automatically via a network, internet, or whatever you want to use. It could be shipped in real time and put on the shelves by robots. You don't need people to do that, and it could be installed by a robot and you drive the hell away. I mean, there's no reason you can't automate most tasks today, and in the future we feel there'll be more and more and more automated until basically there'll be very little actual work for people to do. The whole concept of exchanging labor for money is becoming obsolete, and that's the biggest problem to the system. Now, we've had many monetary systems throughout history. They've come and gone, they've collapsed and rebuilt again. But you have four important things. The first is that in the past, if one country or one economy collapsed, okay, the people who were in charge or rich or whatever you want to call them, the folks on top, they could always run to another country that was building its way up while this one was collapsing. And then they could hear by foot soldiers or whatever, or messengers, how everything was going and how it was collapsing. And they could basically hear from it remotely, similar like we'd watch it on TV from another country. Go, well, it sucks to be them, you know what I mean? But they could get away from it. For the first time ever in history, human history, we have an entire worldwide financial network. When this thing breaks down, everybody, including the rich, are going to be up to their knees in it. There's no place to run anymore, okay? So it's going to be, you say judgment day, but there's going to be a day of reckoning, basically, to where nobody's going to be able to escape to anywhere. We're going to have to face this demon, okay? Secondly, the advent of automation, of course, is making more and more jobs go away. And as the unemployment rate is pretty high in this country now. I think they say it's 12% or 8%, but realistically, if you count the people falling off the rolls, I think it's somewhere like 30% or above. If you don't fudge the numbers at all. But the thing is, that unemployment rate, you might bring it down here, there, a year or two, but really long term, it's going to go up to 40, 50, 60, 70, 80%. What are you going to do when 80% of the people? There's no jobs for them to do anymore. What are you going to do with those people? And the fact of the matter is, on top of that, when 80% of the people or 70 or 60% of the people are unemployed, they don't have the money to buy the products that the factories are putting out any longer. So, the system kind of collapses in on itself at that point. Not because it's wrong or bad or evil, simply because it's unsustainable mathematically at that point. So you have automation displacing jobs. You have an entire worldwide integrated economy with no place to run when it collapses because it's all one now, basically. The fact of the matter is businesses have to automate whether they want to or not. Let's say you're a nice guy and you're like, well, I don't want to automate. I want to keep the jobs here. That's great. There could be 50 people in your field. The first one of those 50 businesses in that field that automates, they're going to cut their overhead drastically. Robots don't take a break. They work 24/7. They don't need lights. They don't need air conditioning. They don't need heat. They don't sue you for discrimination. They don't need to take maternity leave. They don't get tired. They don't get sick. They don't need vacations. They don't have any workers' rights at all. And the list goes on and on and on. Once you pay the initial upfront fee to automate, your cost of doing business drops through the floor. You become so much more competitive than everyone else. Well, once one business in that field automates, the rest of them, to stay competitive, have to automate, or that one will be the only one left very soon. So it's a cascade effect. And entire industries are being absorbed literally overnight. When the first guy to figure out how to automate, everyone else automates within probably a year or two, and those jobs are gone. And the way technology is moving now is exponential. I believe it was Ray Kurzweil talked about, the exponential. You've heard of Moore's law, where computing power doubles every 2 years.
I'm totally up to date with Ray Kurzweil.
Okay. And he actually tracks it from, I think, the 1890s, which is the first computerized thing that was done for the U.S. Census, I believe. This is a talk I saw a couple years ago from him. And he said if you track the curve from 1890 up through when he did the thing, which was 5 years ago, 2009, he said it's a perfect geometric progression. Geometric being, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is arithmetic, it'd be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. It's a double. It keeps going up in that manner, much faster. So you look at it, and he says it's followed that curve from 1890 all the way up through 2009 when he did the talk. He goes, it was unaffected by 2 world wars. It was unaffected by the Great Depression. It just keeps on trucking. And so with information technology and with the march of progress and the march of events, as Jacques likes to call it, this is just going to keep going at the same rate of acceleration. Even unless we're completely wiped out by an asteroid or atomic war or something, it should go at the same progression. At that rate, we're probably not too far away from literally just leaving this system far behind. How much turmoil is going to happen between now and then will probably depend upon 2 things. How educated people are that there's an alternative to just rebooting the same money system over again, which would be this project, a resource-based economy. And the other thing is if we don't blow ourselves up first in a nuclear war or get hit by an asteroid or something. So really, that's pretty much it.